Hello and welcome back to Chatting in English Pod, the show where we explore stories, soak up new words, and have a good chat along the way. I'm your guide for this linguistic adventure.
And I'm here to help untangle those tricky phrases and maybe add a terrible joke or two. You're looking particularly lively today. What's the story?
Oh, I am buzzing with excitement because today's story is a real treat. It's an original tale we've crafted just for our listeners. It's got mystery, heart, a touch of magic, and a whole treasure chest of wonderful English vocabulary and expressions.
Perfect. So we'll be reading the story in segments, and between each part, we'll pop in for a little chat to explain some of the language, discuss what's happening, and make sure everyone's following along.
Exactly. Think of it as reading a book with friends. Today's story is called The Last Keeper of Whispers.
Ooh, mysterious. I like it already. All right, let's not keep our listeners in suspense. The floor is yours.
Storytelling music begins. A soft, slightly mysterious bed of ambient sound with a hint of piano. Chapter 1. The Forgotten Gift. The city of Ethelgard had forgotten how to listen. It was a metropolis of gleaming chrome and constant hum, where the cacophony of traffic, news streams, and personal soundtracks left no room for quiet. In a small, cluttered apartment on the 42nd floor of the Starkhaven Tower lived Leo. Leo was, by most accounts, unremarkable. He worked as a junior archivist for the Central Data Repository, a job that involved meticulously sorting digital files that no one ever accessed. But Leo had a secret that felt more like a burden. He could hear the whispers. Not the whispers of people, though he was adept at tuning those out, but the whispers of things. The soft, sad sigh of the old oak desk in the corner that missed the forest. The faint, frantic ticking of his grandmother's wind-up watch in the drawer, feeling obsolete and ignored. The low, grumbling complaints of the building's foundation settling. For years, Leo had believed this was a peculiar kind of madness, something to be suppressed and hidden. He wore noise-canceling headphones not to block the city sound, but to mute the relentless whispering world around him. His life was a study in monotony, a word meaning a tedious lack of variety. That is, until the day the package arrived. It was a plain, brown paper parcel, tied with rough twine, with no return address. His name was written in a spidery, elegant script that seemed to shimmer slightly. With a sense of foreboding, a strong feeling that something bad is going to happen, he untied the string. Inside, nestled in velvet as dark as a moonless night, was a key. It was ancient, made of tarnished silver, and oddly warm to the touch, and with it, a single folded note. For the last keeper, the door awaits beneath the hardwood. Time is unspooling.
Whoa. Okay, stop right there. I have so many questions. First of all, cacophony. What a fantastic word.
Isn't it? It means a harsh, discordant mixture of sounds, a real racket, the opposite of harmony.
Like my attempt to sing in the shower.
Exactly like that. And Leo is described as unremarkable. That's a gentle way of saying he's ordinary, not particularly noticeable. But he's also meticulous, very careful and precise, paying great attention to detail.
Which is perfect for an archivist, but not so perfect for someone trying to ignore whispering furniture. Obsolete is a great word too. It means no longer produced or used, out of date. Like a DVD player, or my knowledge of 2010's memes.
Exactly like that. And that feeling he has, foreboding, that's that chill down your spine when you know something strange is about to happen. I love the phrase, time is unspooling, like a thread or a film reel coming loose.
It's incredibly vivid. So Leo's got this magical key and a cryptic note, beneath the heartwood. Any ideas what that means?
Well, in a city of chrome and glass, where would a heartwood be? The central, strongest part of a tree. Maybe it's a place, a last piece of nature?
Or a metaphor. Okay, I'm hooked. Let's see what our unremarkable, meticulous hero does next.
Storytelling music fades back in.
Chapter 2. The Heartwood. The note gnawed at Leo. Beneath the heartwood. In a city that had paved over its past, there was only one candidate, the old grove in Gallows Hill Park. It was a sorry patch of land, mostly forgotten, dominated by a single, gigantic, and very dead ironwood tree. The city planners called it an eyesore. Local kids dared each other to touch its grizzled bark. They called it the Heartwood, mockingly. That night, armed with a small torch and the strange key, Leo felt a profound sense of absurdity. Here he was, a man who talked to no one, sneaking towards a dead tree based on a note from a stranger. The park was deserted, the city's light creating a permanent orange dusk. The dead ironwood stood like a skeletal guardian. Its base was a tangled mass of thick roots. As Leo shone his light, he saw it, a perfect, key-shaped knot, hidden where two great roots met the earth. His heart hammered. With trembling hands, he pressed the warm, silver key into the woody crevice. It fit, not with a click, but with a deep, resonant thrum that vibrated up through the roots, through his feet and into his bones. The ground beneath the tree didn't open. Instead, the air shimmered, like heat haze on a road. The massive trunk became insubstantial, ghostly. Through it, Leo saw a winding stone staircase leading down into darkness. He took a deep, shuddering breath. He could turn back, return to his safe, monotonous life of ignored whispers, or he could step into the impossible. He stepped forward. The air felt different on the other side, cool, still, and smelling of damp stone and old paper. The staircase was lit by bioluminescent moss that clung to the walls, giving off a soft, greenish glow. As he descended, the whispers he'd spent a lifetime blocking out didn't disappear. They changed. They became clearer, more distinct, not like madness, but like stories. And the baker's daughter, she laughed with a sound like bells. The treaty was signed with ink that held ground dragon's blood, a foolish choice. The melody for the Festival of Lanterns, I remember every note. He reached the bottom. He stood in a circular chamber, and his breath caught in his throat. It was a library, but instead of books, the walls were lined with thousands of glowing opalescent jars. In each jar, something swirled and shifted, a burst of color, a fragment of song, a shimmering image of a face or a place. And the whispers here were a beautiful, heartbreaking chorus. In the center of the room stood a woman. She was ancient, her face a map of wrinkles, but her eyes were the bright, clear blue of a summer sky. She wore robes the color of parchment. "Leo," she said, and her voice was the gentle rustle of pages. "You're late, but you are here. I am Alara, and this," she gestured to the glowing jars, "is the archive of whispers. Everything this city has forgotten, dismissed, or chosen not to hear. Every lost secret, every unheard laugh, every unspoken truth. And you, Leo, are its last keeper."
Okay, pause. Nod at him. Such a physical verb for a mental feeling. It means it bothered him persistently, like a mouse chewing on a wire.
And the tree is an eyesore, something very ugly to look at. Grizzled is perfect for old, rough bark or a veteran soldier's beard, and skeletal, like a skeleton, bare and thin.
He's feeling absurdity, the quality of being ridiculous or wildly unreasonable. Which fair? The roots are tangled, all twisted together, and he finds a crevice, a narrow crack or gap.
Then the tree becomes insubstantial, not solid, almost ghostly. He takes a shuddering breath, a shaking breath, full of emotion or cold. And I love the word bioluminescent. It means light created by a living organism, like fireflies or deep-sea fish.
The jars are opalescent, showing changing colors like an opal gemstone, and all the whispers together form a chorus, a large, organized group of singers, or in this case, voices. What a reveal! He's not mad, he's a keeper of a secret archive.
And the keeper before him is named Alara. She says he's late. Late for what? Why is he the last keeper? The mystery deepens.
It does. And we've already packed in so much great vocabulary. Let's take a quick break for our listeners to let that sink in, and we'll be right back with more of The Last Keeper of Whispers. Mid-roll music, a short, cheerful interlude.
Welcome back to Chatting in English Pod. So Leo's just discovered he has a destiny, and it's in a magical library under a dead tree.
When you say it that way, it does still sound absurd. But let's see what happens next. Alara has a lot to explain. Storytelling music returns. Chapter 3, The Unspooling.
Leo's mind was reeling. A keeper? Me? There must be a mistake. I'm nobody, an archivist. You are an archivist who hears, Alara corrected gently. You have the faculty. For centuries, keepers have curated this archive. We collect the whispers of things, of places, of moments that the world above deems unimportant. The sigh of a stone bridge as lovers part, the forgotten recipe in a burnt cookbook, the last thought of a fallen leaf. These are the threads that make up the true tapestry of a place. She moved to a wall where the jars pulsed with a faint, troubled gray light. But the threads are fraying. Time is unspooling. When memories and stories are completely forgotten, their whispers fade from here. They don't just disappear. They unravel reality itself around them. A street loses its name. A building forgets its purpose and crumbles. A skill vanishes from human hands. Leo stared. And that's happening now, faster than ever, Elara said, her voice heavy with sorrow. Your city above values only the new, the loud, the efficient. It is willfully deaf. I am old, Leo.
My time as keeper is ending. The archive needs a new heart. It chose you. She placed a hand on a large crystalline jar in the center of the room. It was almost empty, containing only a few weak glimmers. This is the core memory of Ethelgard, the story of its founding, its first promise. When this jar goes dark, the city's identity will be gone. It will become just another nameless sprawl on the map, and then it will begin to physically dissipate. What can I do? Leo asked, a new, unfamiliar feeling stirring in his chest. It wasn't just fear, it was purpose. You must listen, Elara said. Truly listen. Not just down here, but up there. Find the whispers that are fading the fastest. Strengthen them. Retell their stories. You must make the city remember. It is a race against silence. For the first time in his life, Leo didn't want to block out the whispers. He opened himself to the archive's cacophony, and now he could pick out individual threads of desperation. A jar with the faint image of a silver locket, whispering of a lost love. A jar holding the last notes of a street musician's favorite tune. A jar with the fading blueprints for the city's beautiful, now defunct, clock tower. His first task was clear. The loudest, most pathetic cry came from a small, cracked jar. Its whisper was a child's voice, repeating a single phrase with fading hope. The key is in the monarch's shadow at high sun. Wow, okay, so his mind is reeling, spinning, overwhelmed. Elara says he has the faculty, the inherent mental or physical power to do something, in this case, to hear whispers.
And she's curated the archive. To curate is to select, organize, and look after items in a collection, like a museum curator. The world above deems things unimportant, judges or considers them to be.
The jars have a troubled light. Sorrow is a deep feeling of sadness. The city is willfully deaf, meaning it chooses to be deaf on purpose. The central jar is crystalline, like crystal, clear and sparkling.
It only has weak glimmers, faint flickering lights, and if it fails, the city will dissipate, scatter and disappear. But in Leo, a feeling is stirring, beginning to move or awaken. He finds a purpose, a reason for being, a goal. He opens himself to the cacophony of whispers, but now he hears their desperation, a state of despair, typically one that results in rash or extreme behavior. The first cry he hears is pathetic, arousing pity, especially through vulnerability or sadness.
What a beautiful and urgent mission. He's not just filing away forgotten data, he's saving the city by saving its stories. And his first clue is a riddle. The key is in the monarch's shadow at high sun.
A monarch is a king or queen, so a monarch's shadow. A statue, maybe? In a city park? At noon? This is like a magical scavenger hunt.
I love it. Let's see if our newly motivated Leo can figure it out.
Chapter 4. The Monarch's Shadow. Leo emerged from the heartwood at dawn, the world feeling tangible and strangely loud again. But now he had a filter. He walked to work not with headphones, but with an attentive silence. He heard the plaintive hum of the elevator cable, singing of the weight it bore. He heard the soft, dusty lament of the paper files in the repository, jealous of their digital cousins. His lunch break was spent in Kingsword Park, home to a weathered bronze statue of King Aethel, the city's mythical founder,
pointing majestically to the horizon. Leo sat on a bench, eating a sandwich, and waited for high sun. Noon. As the sun climbed, the statue's shadow shortened, a dark silhouette on the manicured grass. At exactly 12 o'clock, the shadow was a small, compact pool at the statue's base. Leo's heart leapt. There, in the shadow of the king's outstretched arm, was a small, dark patch in the grass that didn't move with the light. It was a trapdoor. He glanced around. The park was busy with office workers, but no one noticed the man gingerly prying up a small, heavy iron door in the ground. Beneath it was not a key, but a small, rusted box. Inside the box was a single, delicate porcelain butterfly wing, and the whisper from the jar became a full, clear memory in his mind. A little girl, Anya, hiding her most precious treasure here during a game, promising her friend she'd show her when the king points straight down. She'd moved away the next day, never retrieving it, and the memory had faded into a ghost. The moment Leo held the wing, the corresponding jar in the archive flared with a soft, stable golden light, one thread secured, a tiny, infinitesimal pull against the unspooling. He felt it, a slight fortification in the air, a tiny piece of the city clicking more firmly into place. He was exhilarated. This was his purpose. He began to spend every spare moment following whispers. He found the lost melody for the Festival of Lanterns etched into the bricks of an old chimney. He deciphered the recipe for Starfall candy from the charred pages of a ledger in the city museum's basement. Each recovery was a small victory, a little more light in the core memory jar. But the archive was vast, and the whispers fading by the dozen every day. He was one man, moving at the speed of legwork, while the silence advanced like a tsunami. He needed help. He needed to be heard. One evening, chasing the whisper of a forgotten heroic deed, a bricklayer who had saved children from a fire, he met Maya. She was a fervent local historian, giving a poorly attended talk in a community hall, desperately trying to tell the very story he was searching for. After her talk, he approached her. The bricklayer's name was Eli, Leo said quietly. He used his trowel to break the window latch. He had a stutter, except when he was giving orders to save a life. Maya stared, agog. That detail about the stutter is in no recorded history. How could you possibly know that? Leo took a deep breath. It was time to stop being the silent keeper. Because, he said, I heard the bricks of the old Orchard Street wall whisper it to me. Can I tell you a story about this city? A very strange one. Okay, so many great words. The world feels tangible, able to be touched, real. He's attentive, paying close attention. He hears a plaintive hum, a sad, mournful sound, and a dusty lament, an expression of grief or sorrow. The statue is weathered, worn by long exposure to the weather. It points majestically, with impressive dignity. Its silhouette is its dark shape against a brighter background. Its arm is outstretched, stretched out. He opens the door gingerly, with great care or caution. Back in the archive, the jar flared, burned with a sudden bright light. The result is infinitesimal, extremely small, but it's a fortification, a strengthening, and he feels exhilarated, thrilled, excited, full of energy. He deciphers the recipe, converts it from a code into understandable language. The ledger is charred, slightly burned. He's doing legwork, hard work involving moving around to get information. But the problem is like a tsunami, a huge destructive wave. He's looking for a heroic deed, a brave act, and he meets Maya, who is fervent, having or showing passionate intensity. She's agog, very eager or curious to hear or see something, and he knows the bricklayer used a trowel, a small tool for spreading mortar, and had a stutter, a speech disorder involving repetitions. This is a huge turning point. He's reaching out. He's going to share the secret. Teamwork makes the dream work, even when the dream is stopping reality from unraveling. Exactly. And with that, I think we'll leave our heroes for today. We've covered so much ground and so much wonderful language. We have. To our listeners, you've just learned dozens of new, descriptive, powerful English words. Try using one this week. Say something was an eyesore, or that you did some legwork, or that you felt exhilarated. Join us next time on Chatting in English Pod for part 2 of The Last Keeper of Whispers, where Leo and Maya form an unlikely team to fight the growing silence. Until then, keep listening. You never know what you might hear.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Truly, every episode feels special because you show up, listen, and make this community what it is. William and I pour our hearts into these conversations, and knowing that you're out there, tuning in, growing with us, and sharing your thoughts, it means more than we can ever say. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you of something important. This podcast isn't just something you listen to, it's something you're a part of. Your support helps us keep creating, keep improving, and keep bringing you deeper, better, more meaningful episodes every single week. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please hit that subscribe button on your favorite platform. It helps us reach more people who'd love this content just as much as you do. And if you can, leave us a quick rating or review. It truly goes a long way. You can also follow us on social media, send us your questions, or share topics you want us to explore next. We love hearing from you, and your ideas often shape future episodes. Thank you again for being here. Stay curious, stay kind, and stay connected. Until next time, this is Sarah, signing off with gratitude and love. Don't forget, subscribe, share, and keep the conversation going. We'll see you in the next episode.
All right, everyone. Before we close out today's episode, I just want to take a moment to say a huge thank you. Seriously, you could be anywhere right now, but you chose to spend your time with us. That means everything. Every message, every share, every moment you tune in helps this podcast grow into something bigger than we ever imagined. Sarah and I are truly grateful for this community. This show exists because of listeners like you, and it continues because you keep showing up. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. We've got so many exciting stories, ideas, and discussions coming up, and I don't want you missing even a single one. Hit that subscribe button, follow us online, and stay connected with the conversation. And if you enjoyed today's episode, take just a few seconds to leave a rating or a short review. It helps more than you know. It pushes the podcast forward and helps new listeners discover our community. We always want to hear from you too. Drop your episode suggestions, your questions, or your thoughts. You inspire so much of what we create. All right, that's it for today. Thank you again for listening. Stay inspired, stay motivated, and remember to subscribe. This is William, signing off, and I'll see you in the next episode.